Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, Senior Pastor of New Life Christian Center, located at 400 Hillcrest Avenue in Wilmington, Delaware. We are located right on the corner of Hillcrest and Marsh Road. There is parking on Hillcrest. We are the brown brick building located right on the corner of Hillcrest and Marsh Road in Wilmington, Delaware, 19809. So if you're ever in our area, we invite you to come and worship with us. Service begins at 10 a.m. We invite you to come and experience a better quality of life. And if you are not in our area, you can tune in every Sunday at 10:45 a.m. when we go live with the Sunday sermon at New Life Christian Center, 400 Hillcrest Avenue, Wilmington, Delaware, 19809. You can reach us on YouTube at New Life Christian Center Pastor Pope when we go live at 10:45 a.m. And of course, every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, we are right here with you live in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, broadcasting live from the FijiWater.com sponsored studio, where you can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships. Whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind, God is concerned about that which concerns you. And that is the reason that we are here with you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, which is brought to you daily by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock, where the water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the blue cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery. And you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is not just ordinary water. This is Earth's finest water at FijiWater.com. And for those of you who continue giving on the give segment of our app at New Life-Delaware, and those of you that have made a weekly or monthly commitment to support the broadcast by giving on the contribution pages of our websites at NewLifeMinistriesInternational.com and NewLifeInternationalCDC.com, we thank you for all of you for your support and for your commitment as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here for you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. And I want to remind everyone, we're Facebook Live, we're YouTube Live at Daily Divine Direction, and we want you to stay connected with us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on our internet radio station, WKAPFaith.com, where we play music 24 hours a day that will encourage you, empower you, and inspire you to become the best version of ourselves that we can possibly become. And having said that, so we announced on March the 1st, it was the first day of our promo, our FijiWater.com promo. So you will listen to WKAP Faith Empowerment Radio at WKAPFaith.com. Every day from 12 p.m., starting at 12 p.m., you're going to identify the 3 songs that you hear. 12 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time at WKAPFaith.com. You tune in, and I'm going to address that in a moment. You tune in, and the first 3 songs that you hear, you write down the names of those songs and call or text. Well, let's do this. Let's call or text. Can leave a message, of course, but text the name of the 3 songs that you heard at 12 p.m., starting at 12 p.m., along with your name and your email address. You're going to text those songs every single day, 12 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Now, this is, of course, for our listeners and viewers, because I have to address this, because I was watching today at those who are online. This promo is for those of us who are here in the continental United States, that are here in the United States. Let me say that. If you're in the United States, you can participate in this promo. We'll be doing something later for our international listeners and viewers. We will be doing some additional promos for our international viewers. But right now, for our U.S. viewers, listeners and viewers, you're going to text on the T-Mobile caller text line. Call or text on the T-Mobile caller text line at 267-992-1424. The first 3 songs you hear starting at 12 p.m. Monday through Friday. During the month of March, we're not going to tell you what day we're going to announce a winner, but during the month of March, we are going to announce a winner, and we will have shipped to you a case of Fiji water from Earth's Finest Water, FijiWater.com. So I'll give you an example for those of you, because the first is over. The first 3 songs that were played at 12 p.m. on Monday, the first one was Optimistic, the second one was Already Here, and the third one was Heaven Has My Heart. So that was on the first. Now yesterday we had with us Rebecca Buva, licensed and registered dietitian and nutritionist, RebeccaTheDietitian.com. So we didn't announce the songs that were played, the first 3 songs that were played for yesterday, but the 3 songs that were played today, and I'm not going to tell you the names, but call or text on the T-Mobile caller text line, identify those 3 songs. We even record the artist. We track all of that through our system that has been uploaded with music. We play music 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The music will encourage you. It will empower you. It will inspire you. So I saw today, I was able to go in through our server, and I was able to actually see there was a surge in listening on our internet radio station, WKAPfaith.com. There was a surge. So I know that's people tuning in, and that was actually there was a surge right before 12 o'clock, and it kept going. So I had to continue with preparing for the broadcast today. But this is a great promo for those of you here in the U.S. Call or text on the T-Mobile caller text line. Identify the 3 songs that are played at 12 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And for all of our international listeners and viewers, we want you to stay tuned in. We know you're listening. We see we get the reports, so we see all of the analytics of where people are listening and viewing from. And shout out to those in Ireland. Shout out to those in Germany. Shout out to those who are in Singapore. You know, those of you who are tuning in all over the world, we thank you for being a part of what we do. And then for tuning in, Daily Divine Direction, 3D, Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. And then, of course, I want to shout out to those of you that have been tuned in for the Sunday sermon internationally. In places where we don't have churches. We do have churches in Africa and India, but the places that we do not have churches, those of you that have been tuned in, we shout you out also. We thank you for being with us and being a part of what we're doing. And we're only here to make certain that everyone experiences a better quality of life, that you might have life and that you might have it more abundantly. So I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you were dating a guy who told you he was going to do something for you. However, he didn't do it, and he said it was because you asked him for something else and then did not do something that you committed to do. So you stopped dating. And the reality is, here's the problem, and this is for all of our female listeners and viewers. And the reason I'm saying that is because men think differently. And one of the problems that you had is that he told you what he wanted to do. Then you told him what you wanted him to do. And instead of leaving well enough alone. See, let me break this down for you. When a man wants to do something for you, allow him to do what he wants to do. Don't try to give him or dictate to him what you want him to do. Now, I know society's messed us up telling us, tell people what you need them to do. No, you didn't need this. It was something he wanted to do for you. But then when he told you what he wanted you to do, you increased the expectations. This is going to take me into another listener communication, but you then increased the expectation and basically said to him, well, I want this in addition to that. Or sometimes what we do is we talk ourselves out of a blessing because we increase the expectation even if it exceeds what someone was willing to do, what someone wanted to do from the heart. You grow into blessings. You position yourself for blessings. So he started out at one place to see if you were thankful, if you felt like that was a blessing because it was done out of the kindness of his heart. But you wanted something else. You wanted him to do something more for you because you felt you were entitled. He can do it, I want him to do it. His response was, and didn't say this, but his response was basically, what gives you the right to increase the expectations of something I wanted to do for you? But then you said in your communication, you indicated in your communication that you told him you were going to do something and you didn't do it. So basically, what he got from that, because this is how men think, I can tell you because I've been a man all my life. Basically, what he determined is you're entitled, you're selfish, and you're never going to give of yourself. You just want to take. And you want to take on your own terms. You've got your own expectations, and this is what you expected him to do, and really for no reason. Because you're just dating. You were dating. And that's why it came to an end. It came to an end because society has taught us that if we want something, ask for it, go for it. You know, I get it. The Bible says you have not because you ask not. But it also says you ask amiss. You ask for the wrong thing. What you must do with a man, and I'm going to say this because this is going to help some folks today. When it comes to a man, you've got to, it's one thing if you need something, but you didn't need, you wanted something. And what you have to do is you have to allow men to want something for you. When a man wants something for you, he's going to do what he desires to do for you. You've got to be willing to let him do that. You've got to be willing to receive and be thankful and appreciate what he's doing. But you didn't do that. So in his mind, you're not the one. And now, not only did you not walk into your blessing, and not only did you not position yourself to continue being blessed, but you talked yourself out of a blessing. And so often, you'll justify, well, it wasn't all that anyway. Well, maybe, but the reality is you just talked yourself out of a blessing. So what you want to do moving forward is if you say you're going to do something, do it. But most importantly, just be thankful for whatever someone is thoughtful enough to do for you. Because if you're thankful once, they're going to keep doing. Because it's the desire of their heart. They're going to do some things that are going to bless you. But when you talk yourself out of the blessings pass on to someone else. Because now you two you're not even in a relationship. And sometimes, we really talk ourselves out of a blessing sometimes it's better to just be silent and thankful than it is to talk ourselves out of a blessing. So he told you, you increased the expectations and you didn't do what you said you were going to do. Because it was a complete conversation and dialogue. You said, oh, you know what, I'm going to do this. And he said, oh, that's great. But you didn't do it. And then when he told you what he was going to do, because he appreciated what you were willing to do, or you said you were willing to do, you increased the expectation. And that's why it didn't last. If you want better, you got to do better. That's all we can take away from this. So the next time you're in a relationship, you won't do the same thing, because then we make the same mistake and we end up with the same result. Try something different. And this is for all of our listeners and viewers, both male and female. You gotta try and do things differently, particularly in relationships. Learn to just appreciate whatever blessing you receive. Don't talk yourself out of blessings, and be thankful for all that God is doing in your life. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will move you into our queue so that you may become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill. At T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. And this segment is brought to you by PorscheAmerica.com. If you are in the market for a new high-performance automobile, one of the finest high-performance automobiles ever manufactured, go to PorscheAmerica.com. You will be able to virtually build out the type of Porsche you desire to own. And if you are in our area, you can go to PorscheDelaware.com. Ask to speak to Mike Didio, General Manager of PorscheDelaware.com. He will make certain that someone assists you in selecting the Porsche you desire to own. And if you're in our area and you currently own a Porsche, one of the finest high-performance automobiles ever manufactured, go to PorscheDelaware.com. Ask to speak, if you just need service, ask to speak to Mike Adams, Service Manager, PorscheDelaware.com. He will make certain that someone schedules an appointment for you, that your vehicle is picked up at your home or office, and they will drop off a loaner vehicle for you during your service and return your vehicle to you once the service has been completed at PorscheDelaware.com. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated you do not want to date someone who has settled for being average. However, the women in your family tell you to lower your standards. And you want to know, do I think your expectations are too high? No, your expectations are not too high. Let me say this to you. Why would you want to yoke yourself to someone who has decided that all they want out of life is to settle for being average? That all they want out of life is to get up every day and just survive life. Why would you want that? So your expectations are not too high. You're not settling for someone who has settled for being average. You want someone who's inspired, who's filled with the Spirit of God. And the Spirit, let me tell you what the Spirit of God looks like. The Spirit of God looks like getting up every day, first of all, making the decision to do the right thing. Secondly, making the decision that you're going to maximize your opportunities and your potential, and that you're going to work to become successful and then maximize your success and then enter into the fullness of God, and then maximize the fullness of God. That's what everyone should desire to accomplish. So why would you want to settle for someone who is settled being average? That's when you settle. Listen, I'm not talking about someone who is trying to be their best. And just because they're at a place in their life right now that appears to be average, but they're not settling for that. They're looking for ways to improve themselves. They're looking for ways to tap into opportunities and maximize their potential. That's not, just because they're average today doesn't mean they're going to be average forever. But someone who is settled for that doesn't mean that you should lower your standards to settle for that. The problem is, you said the women in your family are telling you to lower your standards. Here's the problem. The women in your family have settled for people who have chosen to be average, or, if I can keep it real, even below average. People, men who don't want to have a relationship with the Lord, aren't interested in having a relationship with the Lord. They're just interested in hanging out and doing what the world does. That's what they've settled for. And consequently, because that's what they're living, they want you to live the same experience. And then some of them, I'm just going to keep it real, some of them haven't even settled for men who are average or below average. They don't have a man. You know, it's very interesting that someone can tell you to dwell in mediocrity where they dwell and not want more for you than they want for themselves. You know, let's examine the circumstances. If you're living, how can someone tell you to have a relation, how to have a relationship if their relationships haven't been successful? How can someone tell you, they can tell you what to avoid because of their life experiences, but they can't tell you how to get it right if they haven't gotten it right. Now, I'm not suggesting any of us are perfect. What I am suggesting is that if their lifestyle doesn't match up with what the recommendations they're giving you, how can they make that recommendation? So it sounds like what they want you to do is live in the same standard pattern that they're living in. And I'm just keeping it real. At the end of the day, you set your standards not so high and lofty that you can't give someone an opportunity to build with you. All you're saying is, I don't want someone who settles for being average. You want someone who's inspired by God to be greater. Now, that's not to say that they're going to be the GOAT of whatever they do, the greatest of all times. What it's saying is that they continue pressing for the mark, the high calling. You know, what God has purposed them to do. That's what they're working towards. Average isn't what God has purposed for your life. Average is what we settle for. Jesus said, I came that you might have life and that you might have it more abundantly. So that tells us that he doesn't want us to settle for just being average. He wants us to keep trying, to keep working, work out our salvation. He wants us to keep working towards our faith. And faith doesn't require where you are right now. Faith requires you to seek beyond where you are right now. The standard that you are living right now. And so if they're asking you to lower your standards, what they're asking you to do is to stay where they are and not seek anything more. And why would you do that? Why would you want to do that? And that's the reason you asked the question. Should you change your expectations? No, you should keep thinking higher. It doesn't mean that you think you're better than anyone else. You just need to keep thinking higher and not settle for what others have settled for. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Charles Terrett, located in London, the UK. They also have stores in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and at the King of Prussia Mall, King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. So if you're in any of those areas, stop in at their retail stores. They have everything a man could possibly need. And this segment is also brought to you by The White Company. They have a store on Fifth Avenue in New York. They're located in London, the UK. And if you're in New York, stop in at the retail store. They have everything you could possibly need: home goods, clothing for men, women, and children. And if you're not in New York, you can order from The White Company. So you have Charles Terrett at ctshirts.com. They will ship and deliver right to your front door. And you have The White Company at thewhitecompany.com. They too will ship and deliver right to your front door. Both companies will ship to you in an appropriate period of time. And I want to remind everyone before we go into the next segment that we are running a promo, a FijiWater.com sponsored promo. We're running a promo on our internet radio station, WKAPFaith.com. So make certain that you write down the songs that you hear every day starting at 12 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Then you call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. A winner will be selected this month in your text or your call on the voicemail. Leave not only the 3 songs that you've heard, but your name and your email address. I prefer you text it only because that way I can make certain that when we select a winner and we place our call to Fiji Water, that we can submit your email address, because we want to make certain that a case of Fiji Water is delivered to the person who wins the promo. We are going to be doing a promo every month for the remainder of the year. We're going to be doing something. So this is for all of our U.S. listening and viewing audience. We are eventually going to do something. We're working on figuring out a promo with one of our sponsors for our international listening and viewing audience. So everyone is going to be blessed, but we want to make certain that you tune in every day at WKAPFaith.com and you record the first three songs that you hear starting at 12 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated your brother is struggling with dating right now, and you said, how do you assist him in meeting the right woman? You said all your friends are chasing the bag, and I heard that term before from some young people. And so you don't want to introduce your brother to them. But because your brother doesn't have the bag. Okay. And thank you for looking out for your brother, because he doesn't need that. Listen, he works every day. He's trying to do the right thing. We all have some growing to do, but at the end of the day, you said your brother doesn't have the bag and you're not going to introduce him to your girlfriends, even though your girlfriends express an interest in him from time to time, but you keep telling them he's not. Well, your brother's doing fine. But he's got his own expenses, his own expenditures to live with. So he doesn't need to add any more unless it's going to be in a relationship leading to marriage. But having said that, you know your girlfriends and you said they're chasing the bag. So let them chase what they're chasing. But you're right not to introduce your brother to them for a relationship. But here's what you can do. Tell your brother, first and foremost, that what he needs is a woman who loves the Lord. So encourage him to go to church with you. Your church is open in your area. I'd invite you to ours, but listen, encourage him to go to church with you. At least he can meet some women who are at least on the right track, who are at least trying to get where God has appointed for their lives. Now, none of us are perfect, but invite him to go to church with you. And then introduce him to some of the women in the church. And let God move in his life. Let him form his own relationship with the Lord, and he'll know what to do if you remind him. Take them to church and out to lunch 3 times. He'll know everything he needs to know. He's struggling with dating, this will help. And I can tell you that if you do that, that will give your brother a better opportunity to have a relationship that will last. Today's Daily Divine Direction broadcast 3D has been brought to you by Fiji Water. A taste of paradise will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. Remember, this is not just ordinary water. This is Earth's finest water at FijiWater.com. May God bless you today. May God keep his face turned towards you. May God give you peace that surpasses